Yeah, I'm going to take this webinar on introduction to battery technologies. Basic introduction about myself. I have done my bachelor's and master's in mechanical engineering and specialization in automotive electronics. Also currently working as a system engineer, basically responsible for developing lithium ion battery packs for various industries, defining system level architecture, simulations, and also component and system level testing. Yeah. This presentation is of an hour. In this first, we will cover why we need to shift towards the battery operated vehicles. Then we will go for the current trends in the market and what are the government policies. Then current trends in the battery packs for the automotive sector and leading battery pack or the cell manufacturers. Followed by that, we will see components of battery pack, then future of the battery packs. After that, we will talk the job roles if you want to get into this area. If then brief case study of automotive battery packs, and at last, if you are interested in this field, how do you get into this field? Okay, so let's begin with the basic introduction. We will discuss about the current concerns with the gasoline vehicle. And air pollution is an important public health problem in most of the cities of developing world. Epidemiological stu- uh, studies shows that air pollution in the developing countries accounts tens of thousands of deaths and billions of dollars in the medical costs and lost productivity every year. These losses are associated degradation of quality of life, impose a significant burden on the people of all the sectors. The transportation system contributes approximately quarter of the energy related to greenhouse gas emissions. Today, transportation sector is predominantly based on the combustion of fossil fuels, making it one of the largest source of both the rural and the urban air pollution. In megacities such as Delhi, Mexico, London, Paris, Washington DC, somewhere around 60 to 90% of air pollution is due to transportation. Here we can see US transportation sector is responsible for about 30% of country's damaging emissions. In that transportation sector, light duty vehicles such as two-wheeler, three-wheeler, passenger car, medium and heavy duty trucks causes approx 30 uh, 58 to 24% respectively. It's a total more than 80%. Reducing transportation emissions is one of the most vital steps in the fighting the climate change emergency, and solution to the transportation problem are already available. We need to shift away from the fossil fuel powered vehicle dependence and towards zero emission of all the transportation sector, and also limited availability of the fossil fuels in the coming future. We need to progress towards the use of renewable energy sources. Yeah, as per the Paris Agreement in 2015 in UNFCCC, it's United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change. In that convention, all the countries were pledged to reduce their greenhouse gas emission. As per this agreement, India pledged to reduce its greenhouse gas effect by 35% as compared to 2005. Just recent, in 2020, US President Joe Biden announces new target for the US. They will achieve 50% of reduction of greenhouse gas emissions as compared to 2005. Major contributing factor is transportation, and electrification is the way to reduce the gas emission. Hybrid and electric vehicles are an integral part of the electrification. Electrification is one way to improve the operational efficiency of vehicle, resulting the lower electrical consumption and emissions. Let's talk about the current scenarios and government policies. What industry is doing and what government is doing to increase the adoption of electric vehicles. Basically, government is providing incentives to customer and vehicle manufacturer for electric and hybrid vehicles to meet the Paris Agreement target. And also, due to stringent vehicle norms, hybrid and electric vehicle production and use is increasing. Hybrid vehicle is a transition stage between gasoline vehicle and the electric vehicle. US automotive market players like GM Motors, Volkswagen, Tesla started investing in electric vehicles. Also, vehicle manufacturers like Ford, Toyota, MG are focusing on hybrid vehicle. In India, in India, automakers such as Tata Motors, Mahindra, Ashok Leyland, Piaggio are investing in the electric vehicles. There are some other market players also in the two-wheeler and three-wheeler segment. In India, Ather, Okinawa, Ampere, and Hero. Currently, Tata Nexon is the highest selling electric car in India. Let's see component of electric vehicles and their analogy with gasoline and hybrid vehicles. In gasoline vehicle, we use a fuel tank, while in hybrid we use battery pack and fuel tank. In electric vehicles, we use the battery. To refuel the energy in electric vehicle, we use the chargers, while for hybrid and gasoline vehicle, we use the fuel stations. Engine is used in the gasoline vehicle to transfer the energy to move the vehicle. In electric vehicle, we use a traction motor, and in hybrid vehicle, we have the both the engine and the traction motor. In hybrid and gasoline vehicle, we use the gearbox for controlling the speed and the torque requirement of the vehicle. But in electric vehicle, we use a traction motor. A DC-DC converter is used to provide the power to accessories in electric vehicle. In gasoline vehicle and hybrid vehicle, we use the alternator for it. So we will see the types of cells basically here, and why we are selecting the lithium ion battery packs for automotive applications. There are two types of cells. One is primary, one is secondary. Primary cells are non-chargeable. So non-chargeable batteries are the disposable, as they are designed to used only once. Once the reactants inside the are used up in chemical reactions, the output gradually falls. Once all the reactants have been used up, these batteries are no longer able to supply energy. So these batteries are used in the remote control cars, TV remotes, radios, and FMs. The secondary cells is chargeable one. Chargeable battery is an energy storage device that can charge again after being discharged by applying DC current to its terminals. So here we can see the types of different secondary cells. First one is lead acid, majorly used in the automotive application as a stock or vehicle battery. Kind of secondary cell is 30 to 50 watt hour per kg, and self-discharge rate is 5% per month, and it's thermally stable and very low cost. Second one, we will see the nickel cadmium. We have seen double A, triple A batteries. They are nothing but nickel cadmium batteries, whose nominal voltage is 1.2 volts, and cycle life is 800 to 1000 cycles. It's thermally stable, but required fuse protection there, and cost of this nickel cadmium cells are moderate. And next one is nickel metal hydride, is NiMH. A specific energy of this cell will be 60 to 120 watt hour per kg. The cycle life is somewhere around 300 to 500. But self discharge of this cells are pretty much, it's somewhere around 30% per month. Uh, and it also thermally stable and required the fuse protection, and cost is moderate. The next one we will see is lithium ion. Specific energy of this lithium ion is lies between 90 to 250 watt hour per kg. Basically, this is depending upon the chemistry of the lithium ion cells. Life cycles will be 500 to 2000, and voltage range will be 3.2 to 3.7. Here a self discharge rate is pretty much lower than any other secondary cells. It's less than 5%. But for the safety concern, lithium ion require the protection circuit, and cost is bit high. And lithium metal is a secondary cell, but it's unsafe or unstable to use. So, as other secondary cells have low specific energy and nominal voltage, lithium ion is more preferable for the electric vehicle. High energy density and high power density as compared to other secondary cells, and also provides more number of charge cycle and discharge cycles. It makes lithium suitable for selection. In other secondary cells, due to electrochemical reaction, charge and discharge cycle takes place. While In lithium ion cells, it's due to intercalation mechanism. In chemistry, intercalation mechanism is a reverse insertion of an ion or atoms into lattice structure. In lithium ion cells, lithium ion moves from negative electrode through electrolyte to the positive electrode during discharging and back when charging. Intercalation mechanism is far better than the electrochemical reaction. That's why lithium ion cells have a longer life cycles as compared to any other secondary cells. So let's see the types of lithium ion cells based on the form factor. There are three types of cells available: cylindrical, pouch, and prismatic. There are some standard cylindrical cells configuration are available: 18650, 21700, 36700, where first two digits are denotes the diameter and other two digits denote the height of the cell. Let's talk about the type of lithium ion cells based on the chemistry. First one we will see LCO. LCO is a lithium cobalt oxide. Its high specific energy make lithium cobalt popular choice for the mobile phones, laptops, and cameras. The battery consists of cobalt oxide cathode and graphite carbon anode, and the cathode has a layered structure. And during discharging, lithium ions move from the anode to cathode and flow reverse in the charging. The drawback of the lithium cobalt is relatively short lifespan, low thermal stability, and limited load capacity. Basically, the nominal voltage of these cells are 3.6, and cycle life is 500 to 1000. And basic applications are in mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and digital cameras. Next, we will see lithium manganese oxide is LMO. It use manganese oxide as a cathode material, and architecture forms the three-dimensional spinal structure that improves electron flow on the electrode, which results in lower thermal, which results in lower internal resistance and improved current handling capacity. A further advantage of spinal high thermal stability, enhanced safety, but cycle and calendar life is limited. So here the calendar cycle life is 300 to 700 cycles. Applications are in power tool and medical devices. Let's we will see the NMC, which is a lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide, one of the most successful lithium cell or lithium ion systems in the cathode combination of nickel, manganese, and cobalt. Nickel is known as for its high specific energy but poor stability, and manganese has benefit of forming spinal structure to achieve low internal resistance, but offers low specific energy. Combining metals enhance their each other's strength, and the life cycles are 1000 to 2000, and specific energy is 150 to 220 watt hour per kg, and charge and discharge rate are pretty much good for this cell is 1C, and applications are in e-bikes, medical devices, and EV industries. Battery manufacturers move away from the cobalt systems towards the nickel cathodes because of the high cost of the cobalt nickel. Based on systems have higher energy density, low cost, and higher energy density, low cost, or longer cycles life than cobalt based cells, but they have slightly lower voltages. So similarly, they have the LFP cells, which is lithium iron phosphate. Lithium phosphate offers good electrochemical performance with low resistance. The key benefit of high current rating and long life cycles, besides good thermal stability, enhanced safety, and tolerance of abuse. Specific energy for LFP cells is 90 to 120 watt hour, and its application are is EVs, and life cycles are highest in lithium iron phosphate. It's more than 2000 cycles. Next, we will see lithium nickel cobalt NCA. Here, NCH it shares the similar properties as NMC, which is nickel manganese cobalt oxide, high specific energy, reasonably good specific power, along with the good lifespan. Less flattering are safety and cost. Here, the applications are in EV, medical devices, and industries, and life cycles are more than 500. And charge and discharge rate is pretty good. Is also 1C. Next one is lithium titanium oxide. Voltage is a 2 0.4 volt, and specific energy is 50 to 80 watt hour per kg, and its discharge is pretty much good. It's somewhere around 10 C is possible. And applications of this cell, because of less specific energy in UPS, home UPS, and solar powered street lighting. Cycle life are 300 3000 to 7000. So what are battery consist of? First, we talked about the cells. Now we will talk the other components of the battery pack. First, we will see the bus bars. Bus bars used for the interconnections of cells for series and parallel connections as per the battery configuration requirement. Technologies for bus bar bonding with the cells are laser welding for prismatic and pouch, spot welding and wire bonding we use for the cylindrical cells, and bolting is also available for the pouch cells and prismatic cells. Next one is the BMS, the battery management system. Basically, BMS is the battery management system. It controls and defines the parameters for the battery pack, and this consists of two parts. One is BMCU and second one is LMU. Basically, BMCU is the battery monitoring control unit, and LMU is the local monitoring control unit. LMU sends the signals to BMCU, and BMCU further sends it to BMS, and BMS is controlling all the battery pack. Uh, in some of the battery pack, we use contactors and relays for high voltage and pack as a safety circuit requirement. And in the two-wheeler and three-wheeler packs, instead of contactors and relays, we use PDU boards. PDU PDU boards are the basically power distribution unit. They act as a safety circuit in the battery pack. Next is a wiring harness. There are two types of wiring harness in the battery pack. Usually we see one is the low voltage wiring harness, and second one is high voltage wiring harness. It's used to transmit the signal of voltage and current and the electrical power. Next one is thermal management system. It is used to control the temperature of the cells for the battery pack works efficiently. So it's leading cell provider of the leading cell manufacturers across the world. So LG Chem is the leading with the 15.9 gigawatt hour plant, followed by Cattle with 15.4 gigawatt hour, and Panasonic with 12.4 gigawatt hour plant. In BMW i3, we see Samsung SDS NMC prismatic cells has been used. In Tesla, Panasonic NMC cylindrical cells has been used. And Cattle providing battery packs to DAF and Kenworth for their electric and hybrid vehicles. And Ecosol battery packs has been used in the Volvo and UD trucks. So let's see the advantage of lithium-ion battery packs. High energy density. First one is higher energy density. Lithium-ion batteries can have higher power capacity without being too bulky. It because of its higher energy density. And second one we see small and light. In consideration of battery capacity, lithium-ion battery pack is lighter and smaller than any other secondary cells. If we consider lithium-ion battery packs of 5 kilowatt hour and the lead acid battery of 5 kilowatt hour, because of lower specific energy, we required more heavy lead acid battery pack as compared to lithium-ion battery pack. There is a low self discharge for this battery pack. It's less than 5%, as we previously seen, and there is a non-memory effect. Basically, non-memory effect is the phenomena observed in the rechargeable batteries only, in which they lose their maximum energy capacity when repeatedly charged after being only partially discharged. But lithium-ion cells have low memory effect, a high open circuit voltage than any other aqueous batteries as lead acid, nickel metal hydride, and nickel cadmium. And maintenance cost is also low for the lithium ion cells. Basically, we don't have to monitor it again and again, and due to its low memory effect and the low self discharge, we don't have to maintain it again. So disadvantages of lithium ion battery packs or cells is basically very expensive. Production of lithium ion cells is expensive. Overall production cost of these cells is around 40% higher than the nickel metal hydride production required. mm, they are not robust as any other rechargeable secondary cells. They require protection from being overcharged or discharged. Transportation problems. A lot of restrictions are in place for the transportation of lithium-ion batteries, especially large quantity by air. Deep discharge. Lithium-ion battery has a low self-discharge, and the general integrity of the battery pack remains intact even if partially discharged. However, deep discharging and when the voltage of the lithium-ion cells drops below the certain level, it becomes unusable. Safety concern. It may explode when overheated or overcharged. It is due to gases caused by the electrolyte decomposition increases the internal pressure of the cell. Overheating or the internal short circuit can also ignite the electrolyte and it causes the fire. So next we will see the future of the battery packs. First we will see the lithium air. It provides exciting new frontier because this battery promises to store a far more energy than current lithium ion technology. Theoretically, specific energy is 13 kilowatt hour per kg, but depending upon the composition of active materials, its voltages varies between 1.7 to 3.2 volt. Next, we will see lithium metal. It has long been seen as the future rechargeable batteries because of its high specific and good loading capacity. In 2010, the trial of lithium metal with a capacity of 300 watt hour per kg has installed in an experimental electric vehicle. And DBM Energy, the German manufacturer of these cells, claims 2500 cycles, short charging time, and competitive pricing if they are mass produced. Although lithium metal batteries pass stringent approval stress, long safety remains the issue for the metal filaments can form that might cause a electric short. Next, we will see the solid state batteries. Current lithium ion uses a graphite anode, and this reduces the specific energy. Solid state technology replaces graphite with pure lithium, and scientists are trying to overcome the problem of metallic filament formation even with dry polymer and ceramic separators. Additional challenges are poor conductivity at cool temperatures, difficulty to diagnose problems within the cell, and low cycle count. In the lab, it was tested, and solid state batteries life cycle is 50. Solid state batteries promises to store twice the energy compared to regular lithium ion batteries, but the loading capacity might be low, making them less suited for the electric vehicles. Next one is lithium manganese iron phosphate. It is said to increase the capacity up to 15% over regular lithium iron phosphate system. Advantage of working voltage, average working voltage of this is 4.0, and a specific energy is 135 watt hour per kg. And the life cycle is pretty good for this. It's somewhere around 5000. It's economical and cost safety are the other benefits making this battery candidate for the electric powertrain. So in terms of typical job roles as a battery technology is a multidisciplinary domain and need lot of system domain knowledge to work upon. The first we will see the mechanical. Mechanicals deal with the battery pack design, then module design, then bus design, and simulation and testing the components. And basically tools for this is these are the CAD tools like Creo, SolidWorks, and CATIA UGNX. For the simulation, there are two types of simulation in the mechanical. One is thermal and the second is structural. For both we required ANSYS, Hypermesh, COMSOL, and up to some extent we also require the MATLAB. And there is a automotive standards, as this is the automotive part. There are some automotive standards. According to that, we have to meet the requirement of the part for vibration, shock test, and all those stuff. So testing and validation is also part of a mechanical design. And battery is an electrical component, so we need electrical engineers for it to design the LV and HV wiring harness. LV is low voltage wiring harness, and HV is the high voltage wiring harness. And tools for those they are the required are solid edge, capital harness, and saber. E- Electronics engineer to design the PCBs which are required as PCBs are BMCU, LMU, PDU boards, and defining the system architecture. They design the PCB and the system architecture for the battery pack. And tools for the PCB development is Solid Edge, Proteus, Eagle, and Altum. The guys who can work on the battery, so they can be from some other fields who is chemical and metallurgy engineers to provide better understanding of composites. Require software engineers for the design of the software as per the battery requirement of some system test engineers who can be from any of the above mentioned background. They work on compliance standard, safety standards, and low voltage and high voltage standards. So now we will see some of the case studies. Our first ever electric car whose range is more than 350 miles was a Tesla Model S. In this, they have used Panasonic cylindrical NMC cells, which is 18650 cells. 18650 means 18 is the diameter of the cell and 65 is the height of the cell. Overall system voltage is 350 volt, and the capacity of battery is 292 am- amps. Basically, the cell parameters are 3 volt and 3.4 capacity age. They have used wire bonding technology for the connections of the cell. Also, they have used their effective battery thermal management system. The cooling channels are covering around 60 to 70% of the surface area of the cell, so the battery works efficiently, and the cooling system of the Tesla battery packs are pretty much better than any other battery packs of the automotive sector. Here we see the cell specification as nominal capacity is 3.4 and the nominal voltage is 3.7, sorry 3.6. They are using NMC cylindrical cells which is manufactured by Panasonic. And the module configuration they use the 8S86P. It comes somewhere around nominal capacity is 292 Ah and nominal voltage is 22 volt. And such 60 number of modules are they are packed in the battery pack. So all the modules are in the series. So nominal voltage goes somewhere around 350 volt, and nominal capacity remains the same as the module is 292 volt, and the weight of the battery pack is 641 kg. Next we will see Next we will see the Nissan Leaf battery pack. They use NMC pouch cells whose capacity is 33.2 amps, whose nominal voltage is 3.6 volt. They used 49 number of modules and all the connected in series, and each module consists of 4 cells which are connected in the configuration of 4s2p. As the end result, this arrangement battery pack voltage is 350 volt and its capacity is 66 h. While designing the module, they introduced cooling plate in between the 2 cells for effective cooling. So it covers somewhere around 80 to 90% of surface area of the pouch cell. So it is very effective cooling they have used in the lithium and the Nissan Leaf battery pack. They used bolting connections for the cells. Next one we will see the BMW i3 battery pack, whose cells are supplied by Samsung SDI. It's NMC prismatic cells of 94 H capacity, and its 12 modules are connected in series to get the desired output from the battery pack. As nominal voltage of the battery pack is 350 volt and capacity is 94 volt. In each module there are 8 cells are connected in the series, and all the intercell connections are laser welding they have used. So basically we have seen the three case studies. First one is a Tesla Model S, second is Nissan Leaf, and third one is BMW i3. In Tesla models, they have used cylindrical NMC cells. Second, I have seen the Nissan Leaf. There they have used NMC pouch cells, and in BMW i3 they have used NMC prismatic cells. And currently Tesla is working on NCS cells, which are good than NMC cells for the specific energy. And new development for the Tesla is 4680 cells. 4680 is a new configuration which will be developed by the Tesla in coming days. And 46 is the diameter of the cell, and 80 is the height of the cell. And the specific energy of the cell is pretty much better than the current they have used. And so, just to end this presentation, basically, if you are interested to do, if you're interested in domain, how we can get into this field and how we can go get a knowledge of this field, then you can opt for the academic courses, which is your university or college courses. Then you have pretty much good online content for it. You have books for it, and there are some online classes similarly like this as we are planning ahead. And to gain the practical knowledge, researchers in colleges or projects or student competition, you can take the participation and take to participate, or from there also you can get the practical knowledge of this. As I already told, battery is a multi-domain system. We need the excellent knowledge across the all the platforms, and it's very new, and lot of R&D is going into this field. You have to up to date what is happening, and basically basic requirement is you need to have a good analytical skills to understand the battery system functionality and its components used in the battery packs.